Good morning, everyone. All right, I know everyone is excited to be here at our closing session. And before we get started, I think we need to begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. So if we could all rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. And it's a beautiful morning here in Norfolk. It's so great to see all of you here for our closing general session of VACo's 87th annual conference. And I hope you've enjoyed all the opportunities that this conference has presented so far. And we really hope you will enjoy this morning's program too. We have a couple dynamic speakers to hear from. And our first one, it's an honor to introduce our Governor, Ralph Northam. And I think we all know the governor well, but I will tell you a few highlights about him. Before he was inaugurated as the 73rd governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia, Ralph Northam served as an Army doctor, pediatric neurologist, business owner, state senator, and lieutenant governor. And he has led Virginia to many economic development successes and helped lead Virginia to being named CNBC's top state for business for 2 consecutive years. Most importantly to us, he has helped guide us through a very challenging pandemic and has always been generous with his time, with counties, and with VACo. Countless phone calls, advice that he has given us as local elected officials and the VACo board throughout what I know we all would agree has been a very, very challenging last year and a half plus. And thankfully, Ralph has been there to help us through that. And we are very proud to be associated with Governor Ralph Northam. And so if you could join me in welcoming very warmly Governor Ralph Northam.
Please be seated. Good morning. Wow. I heard you all say good morning back a couple times, and every time it got just a little bit better. But thank you for the opportunity to be with you this morning. I hope everybody has had a good conference. I have looked at your all schedule. It's been a busy schedule, but a lot of good speakers, a lot of good topics. And Jeff, just take this opportunity to thank you for your leadership and your friendship over the years. I have really enjoyed working with you and your staff. And I know this is your last day as president of VACo, and that's why he's got that big smile on his face this morning. But, you know, I think you all need to put your hands together. Give Jeff a round of applause for his leadership. So, I always enjoy speaking with VACo, and certainly last year or the year before, I came, time marches on, but we were out at the Homestead, and what a great venue that is. But I'm glad you all are here in 757 here in Norfolk, Virginia. And I always look forward to coming home. As a matter of fact, Pam and I will be moving back in January, just a couple months from now, and just down the street a little bit, and I'll be resuming my practice at Children's Hospital of the King's Daughters. As most of you know, I'm a child neurologist, and I'm a co-founder and co-owner of our practice there. So it's really neat to have served in public service now since 2008, but I look forward to coming full circle and getting back to seeing sick children and their families. That's what I've been trained to do, and that's what I'm probably best at. And a guy from Tangier one time, you all know where Tangier Island is. He told me, I said, "I sure hope you're a better pediatrician than you are a politician." And I said, you can count on that. I don't know if you all, I don't know if you all realize this, but we had an election just a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to say this just as a, outgoing politician, but thank goodness that we don't have to see the commercials on the TV. My Lord, I have never seen so many commercials. But that's what our democracy is about. We had record numbers of people that voted in Virginia, and that makes me proud. And I have met with Governor-elect Glenn Youngkin. As a matter of fact, I'm meeting again with him this afternoon. He's a good man. He's putting good people around him, and I'm just confident that he is going to continue to take Virginia in a positive direction. So my ask of you all is, you've heard me say this before, I believe in the Virginia way. We can agree to disagree, but at the end of the day, we do what's in the best interest of Virginia. And I would just ask all of you to support him, to support his administration, and I think we'll continue to keep Virginia the best place to live and the best country in the world. So I ask that of you all. Just what I wanted to do this morning, and I don't want to trespass on too much of your time, but just kind of give you a little bit of the state of where we are in Virginia, what our priorities have been, and I think where we're headed in the upcoming years. But I have, and to reiterate what Jeff said, just really enjoyed my relationship with VACo. And I want to just on behalf of a grateful Virginia, thank all of you for your service, not only to your counties, but also to the people of Virginia. This has been, I'm just going to let you know, this has been a hell of a year for all of us. And excuse my language, but none of us were prepared. I don't think we expected what was going to happen over the last 18 to 19 months. And really, it's all been for me about keeping Virginians safe and keeping them healthy. And that's why the communication, the collaboration with VACo has been so important during COVID. And I as a doctor, I hope that we can put this in the rearview mirror soon. But I would remind you that it's still out there. And I know there's a lot of discussion on, how we prevent people from getting sick and the importance of vaccines. But just a couple quick numbers. Today, we reported, and I look at these numbers every day, 30 additional deaths. We're averaging 35, 40 deaths a day. You look around this room, it's a lot of people, a lot of Virginians. And so we need to continue to, I think, really emphasize to keep people safe. And I know a lot of people out there, they don't want to get shots, but I'm going to just tell you, I'm going to give you my doctor's hat this morning. That's the only way we can keep people safe and healthy. That's the only way we can get our businesses, our economy back up and running, our children back in school safely, which is where they need to be. But if we don't take this seriously and encourage everybody to be part of the solution, this is as an Army doctor, we're fighting a war right now. And the war is not between you and me. It's not with another country. It's with a virus. And if we don't all work together and as a country say we're going to do everything that we can to kill this virus, it's going to keep smoldering. And each time that we see another variant, that variant's going to be more virulent. It's going to be more contagious. And the only way to keep people out of our hospitals, we have hundreds of people in the hospital right now, a lot of them on ventilators in the ICU, and it's all avoidable. Go get a shot. Just do that. Do what's in the best interest. So anyway, that's my message for you from the doctor. I'll get back to my last 2 months as being a governor and just tell you a little bit about kind of where we are. But we've passed, as you know, millions of dollars in federal pandemic relief funding on to local governments to help you respond to your community's needs. We made it a priority to ensure that your localities get every dollar as quickly as possible. When we go to other states and someone asks, where are you from? We say, Virginia. But when we travel here inside the state and someone asks where you're from, we name the town or the city or the county. So we're connected to our communities. And I've always valued the work that you do to represent those communities. By the way, I'm from Onancock, Virginia. Anybody here from Accomack County this morning? Yeah, all right. That's what I'd like to see. So the main thing, I just wanted to make sure we kind of have a reputation for partying and staying out a little bit late at night, but I'm impressed. You're here this morning and ready to go. I just got back from Europe a couple nights ago, and I met with over 25 companies in 5 different countries in Europe. And I just wanted to stress to you all how excited companies are from around the world that want to come to Virginia. And you know, we've got our quality of life. We've got the most educated, most talented workforce. They recognize that. We have great education. We've diversified our economy in Virginia. As I'd like to tell people, we've always been dependent on the military and government contracting, and we always will be. But we really need to work to diversify. The transportation system is key, especially our port. Our emphasis on renewable energy. 41 beautiful state parks. We've got it all here in Virginia, and so other countries, other businesses really recognize the importance and the advantage of coming to Virginia. We have attracted over 100,000 new jobs, a lot of new businesses, and I just wanted to put a number out there, and certainly I would never as a governor compare our administration to a previous administration, but you all need to wake up in here this morning. But in capital investment, Virginia has seen over $77 billion. $77 billion have come into Virginia in capital investment in the last 4 years. And like I said, I don't want to compare to any other administration, but the highest number of capital investment prior to this administration was 18 billion. So let's do the comparison. So that just gives the future administration something to think about. And, you know, and as Jeff said, Virginia was named CNBC's best state for business. And I don't know if I clarified this last time, Jeff, and everybody says back to back, but, and I don't want to, again, trespass on too much of your time, but let me just tell you the way it really happened. The first year I was in office, Virginia was the 4th state in the country. And I'd always told people, I said, I want our economy to be strong. I want to be the best in the country. And so the next year was 2019, and we were number 1. And the way CNBC does that, they let someone on my staff know a couple weeks before. They don't ever let me know because I'm not good at keeping secrets. But anyway, that's the way it went down in 19. And then in 20, they called again and said, we want to let you know Virginia is once again number 1. Well, that was about 2 weeks before the announcement. And 2 days before the announcement, they said a lot of other states have said it's not fair because of COVID, so we're not doing it this year. I said, all right. So then this past year, they called and said once again. So anyway, the point that I'm making, it's not 2 years in a row. Virginia really has been named number 1 3 years in a row, and we should all be proud of that. So the best state for business ranking is a testament to Virginia's strong business climate, our commitment to diversity, our workers, and as I said earlier, our talented workforce, our education system. And it's proof that when you treat people right, it's the right thing to do, and it's also good for business. And while it makes headlines when big companies move to Virginia, like Amazon did in the first year of our term, many of our investments are in small businesses, in local communities. And I remind people all the time, about 98% of our economy is in small businesses. They are literally the backbone of our economy. And so, for example, the Go Virginia grant program helps small businesses with a focus on building up regional assets. Similarly, our Virginia Main Street, and I know a lot of you have been at announcements when we've been out and about, but that program helps rural communities in all corners of our Commonwealth. And the Rebuild Virginia program invested nearly $400 million over the past year or so in grants to help our small businesses stay afloat during the pandemic. And we're putting more money, more resources into Rebuild Virginia. We have also focused on supporting and promoting businesses that already exist in rural Virginia, such as agriculture, which is our biggest private industry. And by the way, Agriculture is the #1 industry in Virginia. 2 is tourism, and 3 is forestry. We've made a lot of use of the Governor's Ag and Forestry Industries Development Fund, also known as AFID. In fact, we've had more successful AFID projects than the past 2 administrations combined, 55 projects totaling more than $5 million. It's great to invest in and support business, but we have also made strong progress in ensuring that Virginians have what they need to get jobs and that the jobs treats them right as workers. We have climbed in the ranking. As I said, we're #1 for business, but we've also climbed in the ranking for workers thanks to policies like raising our minimum wage and laying out a pathway to a $15 minimum wage. We've raised state support for teacher pay by 10% over 3 years. That's the largest increase in 15 years. We expanded early childhood education, and I know Pam is not with me this morning, but that is something that, and we've had wonderful first ladies, and we've got another wonderful first lady that's starting in January, Suzanne Yunkin, but the first ladies do a lot of work in the Commonwealth. They don't ever get as much credit as they should, but if you want to thank somebody for making sure that all 3- and 4-year-olds have access to early childhood education in Virginia, you can thank my wife the next time you see her. We have also expanded access to in-state tuition. That's so important to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to live the American dream. We've increased tuition assistance. We've established the G3 program. That's something that we're proud of, and I hope will continue. And when we talk about, training our workforce and keeping that pipeline open, there are a lot of people right now that need to have skills, and there are a lot of people that need to be retrained. And so the G3 program, which stands for Get Skilled, Get a Job, and Get Ahead, it allows Virginians to go to our community colleges. We have 21 very good community colleges, but it allows them to go there for free. It also helps with their books and other wraparound expenses, such as transportation and childcare. So it's a good program, and it's been very well accepted by our community colleges and also students that are taking advantage of it. We've taken historic steps toward bridging the digital divide, and it's something you all have heard me talk about a lot. But broadband these days is really like electricity was generations ago. It's not a luxury anymore, but it's a necessity, whether it be for school, for work, for telehealth, and even more. And so we have made an historic investment of $700 million of American Rescue Plan funding toward broadband. That commitment will allow us to fully fund the infrastructure needed to bring broadband to every Virginian in every part of our Commonwealth. Many of you are already partnering with utility and telecommunications companies to get this done in your communities, and for that I say thank you. Last month, I announced that we've received a record number of local and private sector applications to pair with our state broadband investments, putting us at more than $2 billion in broadband funding and getting us to universal broadband access by 2024. Now, let me just tell you how personal this is for me. I live in Cashville. I said I lived in Onancock. Well, I'm actually on the suburbs of Onancock in Cashville, Virginia. And we don't have broadband at our house. And when I started this job, I gathered the folks together that were responsible for deploying broadband. And I said, where are we? And where do we need to go? And a couple things. They said that right now we put about $4 million a year into broadband. That was 4 years ago. I said, well, that's not too good. So I went to our friendly legislators, and I see Emmett Hanger was in here. He probably ducked out. Wait. Good morning, sir. And he probably remembers some of this, but I went to them and I said, I'd like $50 million a year. Well, you don't always get what you want in Richmond. And so we compromised at 19. But finally, this past year, we got $50 million into the budget for the next 2 years for broadband. And so we've come from $4 million a year to now $2 billion. And again, this is really important for Virginia. And the other thing I just wanted to share with you, this group that I gathered with, I said, how long will it take for me to get broadband in Cashville, Virginia? In other words, how long will it take to get universal broadband in Virginia? And they said 10 years. And I said, I don't even know where I'll be in 10 years. So I'm proud to tell you that because all of us have worked together, that everybody in Virginia will have broadband in 2024. So again, thank you for that. You all will still be able to reach out to me through the internet over on the Eastern Shore. Emmett, don't forget that. Don't forget me over there. We've also made generational investments in our transportation infrastructure, and that is so important. Most of you probably drove here today, or when you came to this conference from different areas and saw what's going on with transportation in Virginia. If any of you from Lee County, any Lee County folks made it here, but anyway, it probably took you about 7 or 8 hours to drive here. You could have gotten to Tennessee's capital in about half that time. We can't physically bring places closer together in Virginia, but we can and we have worked to improve our roads and rail. And I just want to review a little bit of that. We have invested $2.2 billion to improve the heavily traveled I-81 corridor to make it safer for truck traffic, but also locals who use the interstate to get around. We've led the commitment for dedicated funding for Metro. I've worked with Governor Hogan and Mayor Bowser, $3.8 billion to expand the Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel. Just a few weeks ago, we announced work to reroute Route 58 at Lover's Leap to improve travel to Southside Virginia. We've committed $3.7 billion to our Transforming Rail in Virginia initiative that will build a 21st century statewide rail network across the Commonwealth. One of my dear friends, and we've lost him this past year, but was Governor Baliles. And one of the things that he said, when you talk about rural Virginia, when you talk about the Southwest, don't ever forget the importance of transportation. And so we have really tried to follow his lead, but something we announced a few months ago is bringing rail to Christiansburg and Radford out to the Blacksburg region, which is just really important. Mary, I see you sitting here, so hopefully you all will be able to get on the train, but even to go farther to Bristol to really open up the Southwest to transportation. Our communities are on the front lines of climate change. You are the ones that see the flooding or the increased storm damage. I think you all have had fairly good weather here in Norfolk the last few days, but you know, this area right where you are is the second leading highest area of that's vulnerable to flooding, second only to Louisiana. So we've got to make sure that we are committed to dealing with that. Our administration, and I want to again thank Senator Hanger for his commitment. We've created the strongest Chesapeake Bay cleanup plan in Virginia history and secured more funding for the Bay than any previous governor, investing more than $756 million in funding to help farmers, to help localities and wastewater treatment operations reduce their nutrient and sediment loads. I was proud to sign the Clean Energy and Community Flood Preparedness Act and the Virginia Clean Economy Act. These important steps, along with our investments in a stronger environment, mean we're leaving Virginia on a path to cleaner energy and cleaner air. And I can't tell you how important and how proud we all should be of what's going on right now when I talk about renewable energy, what's going on right off of our coast with wind energy. That is a big, big deal for not only Hampton Roads, but also for Virginia. It's going to provide about 14,000 jobs. We've got the greatest port in order to service offshore wind. As you know, Dominion and Ørsted put 2 turbines out. We just announced a couple weeks ago that Siemens Gamesa is coming right here to Portsmouth, not only to assemble wind turbines, but to also manufacture here, right here in Virginia. And that's going to put people to work. And so What this does, it puts about 188 more turbines off of our coast, enough, and I think this is an impressive number, enough to provide energy to 660,000 homes. Think about that. That's a lot of homes that are going to be supplied electricity from offshore Virginia. But even more important is that with our port, not only are we going to service Virginia, Kitty Hawk is a project off of North Carolina with about 180 turbines. And then you've got Maryland, New Jersey, Rhode Island, Maine. They're also pursuing offshore wind. And so Virginia can be the leader in manufacturing and servicing these wind turbines all up and down the East Coast. So that's a good thing. I know I'm probably getting going a little bit past my time, but I'll come to a close here soon. But as I prepare our final budget, and of course Senator Hanger's going to be a big part of this, I'm proud that our steady fiscal stewardship has put Virginia in a very strong fiscal position. We ended the last fiscal year with the largest surplus in the Commonwealth's history, an historic $2.6 billion. I will introduce the budget. I think my budget speech is on December the 16th, and then the General Assembly, the legislators will deal with the budget this year, and then Governor-elect Youngkin will have the final say. But like many states, we really expected the pandemic to break our state budget, but that's not what happened in Virginia. Virginia has been different, a leader among the states in our COVID response and really in our economic performance. And so with our strong revenues and our federal support, we have been able to help Virginians who most need support through this pandemic while building our economy to be even stronger. Throughout our administration, we laid out a path for economic prosperity, and it's working. So we can all be proud of Virginia's position as we sit here today. We have a strong economy, and we are well positioned to continue seeing robust revenues and hiring going forward. And to put things in perspective, tell you where we are despite a pandemic that no doubt has hurt businesses. It's hurt small businesses. It's hurt businesses like the hospitality industry, restaurants, hotels like you're in today, entertainment venues. But I wanted to just share our revenue at the end of October was 15% higher than it was last year. So despite the pandemic, despite businesses being hurt, and we have tried to do everything that we can to keep these businesses healthy, Virginia actually is in a very good economic place. So I'm confident that our administration has put Virginia in this position, and we have made critical generational investments in transportation, in education, in broadband. We put resources into supporting our communities that need it, that businesses. We built a strong Commonwealth that really works for more Virginians than ever before. So Virginia is, I might be biased, but I'm going to tell you again, is the best state in the best nation in the world. And I just wanted to close by saying thank you to everybody. It has been a tremendous privilege to serve not only in the Senate, but then as Lieutenant Governor. And Emmett, by the way, Lieutenant Governor was the best job out there. When you all want to talk about what you want to be when you grow up, that's a good gig. But it's also it's been fun serving as governor. But as you all know, my time is coming to a close. But I just, as I look around this room, I see so many friends, so many dedicated public servants, and it's something that we should all be proud of. And you hear me all the time say that it takes a village. It really does take a village, especially during difficult times. And I just want to, on behalf of a very grateful Virginia, just commend you for choosing to be part of that village. So keep up the good work. I'll just be down the street next year, so hopefully I can come at least visit and say hi. But you all do wonderful work, and you represent the people of Virginia so well. You have a lot to be proud of. So keep up the good work and stay safe. Thank you all so much. Thank you.